What was your elementary school experience like? To be honest, I don't even remember half of mine, so I don't know why I expect you to remember yours. I bet half the time though, I was just running around and goofing off. I will tell you this though, I would remember people like them. Yes, these are elementary schoolers. Broken elementary schoolers. Bro, this is so silly. You'd never see an elementary school doing something like that. Yeah, I will admit this is an extreme case. You'd never see an elementary schooler kill someone, but those runs can be mean sometimes. This is often due to bad parenting, but there's more to it than that. You may have not realized it or know about it, but children are super moldable. Even high schoolers are semi-moldable, even though they think they have everything figured out. So how a child is raised can really affect who they are for the rest of their lives. But you may not agree, and that is partially true. Take Cristiano Ronaldo for example though. His childhood was difficult, but he was always faced with the task of overcoming obstacles, not overcoming his parents. Take Spider-Man, Superman, Luffy. These guys had horrible tragedies occur to them growing up. But that is the difference. Facing adversity is not the same as a bad childhood. A tragedy builds adversity with love. It creates heroes that we know and love. But an unfortunate childhood, one with no love, neglect, and hatred, that ruins lives. And that's the worst part. Those lives that are ruined, they're forgotten. It's why I can't name anyone who faced such an experience off the top of my head. And that is a tragedy. So when Takopi's original sin shows you what happens to these tragic childhoods that tend to be forgotten, the effects of horrible parenting on very multiple children, it emphasizes the depth, the responsibility that comes with parenting, and shoot, it made me want to be a better person for those who have no one to rely on. This show was pretty powerful, and it's not for the faint-hearted. But let me catch you up to speed. The show revolves around three children, Shizuka, Marina, and Azuma, and one special protagonist, Takopi. But I just want you to remember, perspective matters. Takopi is an essential character to the story. Its goal is simple, to spread happiness. However, let's just say it is very slow. Takopi lacks any form of social awareness when he arrives to Earth, which makes sense. It's an alien, so taking into account his culture, customs, and courtesies are completely different from ours. As a result, he needs to adapt, which happens all the time in the real world. Now initially, you may think that that's not a big deal, but it is. When I say Takopi is socially unaware, he could watch someone die in front of it, and it wouldn't question him. So when the mood and music reflects Takopi's perspective, the amnesia snags at you, all accompanied by this upbeat music. It's only through trial and error that Takopi starts to understand the depth of its ignorance. This occurs halfway through the show. And while Takopi, who keep in mind, is an inconsistent character in soul and mind, it reflects on its actions when the children haven't done so. Shizuka, the first child we're introduced to, has gone through pain and trauma that is incomprehensible to the average person. Her parents are divorced and absent. Her mother works the entire day and spends her nights at another man's house while the fathers move away. The neck that she has received taints every aspect of her life. There is no comfort for her at home, only desolation. When Shizuka goes to school, rather than be surrounded by her peers, she's isolated. She's bullied at school, and us, the audience, and Takopi want to give her a better life. But as the episodes unravel, so do her true colors, albeit unintentional. Growing up with no one to rely on has made Shizuka become selfish and naturally develops a subconscious idea to care only for herself. Shizuka doesn't know any better. She's 9. But what's wrong with Shizuka being a little selfish? She gets bullied every day. She can't harm anyone. But remember, perspective matters. It's so easy to alienate a person, make them an enemy. That's the first step towards though. If we get to know someone better, we can see them past as an enemy. Because remember, perspective matters. Marina is also a byproduct of how her parents treat her. Like Shizuka, Marina's parents are divorced. Unlike Shizuka, Marina lives with an abusive mom. Like Shizuka, Marina has picked up the habits of how her parents treat her and does the same to those who cause her pain. Shizuka is an indirect source of Marina's pain. That's why she bullies Shizuka. Deep down, she knows that it's wrong to take your anger out on another person. But why should she care? If it happens to her, it can happen to someone else. And that's the sad truth. Marina may know better, but she can't do anything about her situation. She is only 9. The final conflicted child is Osma. He experiences a unique type of trauma, the burden to succeed. Azuma's environment is vastly different from Marina and Shizuka's. Azuma's family is well off. His parents get along fine. They raised Osma well. However, they don't give Osma true love. Azuma craves attention. He wants to feel belong, but with his father usually working and his mom pressuring burden to surpass his older brother, Azuma feels that his whole family is pitted against him. Being thrusted into this survival mindset, Azuma sees his family as enemies rather than family. So when a character like Shizuka takes advantage of Azuma, it makes him feel of use. It only ingrains the mindset that Azuma is in. And sadly, that's not the case. Azuma's older brother Junya couldn't care less of whether Azuma becomes successful or not. He just wants him to be happy, but he doesn't know what Azuma's going through. That doesn't mean he can't try. And it's the way he made himself transparent, the way he makes it so easy to get Azuma to open up to him, that makes this moment radiate with you. He doesn't have a special technique. His personality isn't special. It's a straightforwardness. As the show progresses, the three protagonists' unique and unfortunate circumstances cause them to alter each other's lives. For the worse. Each child takes advantage of the other's weaknesses, sometimes intentionally and other times unintentionally. For example, the reason why Azuma is so willingly manipulated by Shizuka is the fact that she reminds him of his mother. Shizuka uses Azuma for his talents and not for his kindness, unintentionally taking advantage of him. Azuma, not even aware of his true desires, wants to be of use, because in his eyes, making Shizuka happy makes up for his lack of maternal love. When Shizuka and Marina interact, Marina bullies Shizuka, but Shizuka eventually lets the cycle of hate continue with her, and she just takes her anger out on Takopi. The cycle of abuse ingrains itself in each character. They are destroying their lives, their futures, without even knowing it. They are oblivious. The world around them is oblivious, except for Takopi. But the truth is, in our lives, on this planet, there is no Takopi. There is no alien sent from space to help children, heck, help teenagers or adults be happy. But we can help each other out. We can choose to open our eyes and make sure that someone is okay. We can spill our problems to others. We go about our lives fighting our battles on our own. But it's okay to burden the people we trust with those problems, and you should do the same for them. Humans are social creatures. We need one another. Heck, part of that is why I made this video. And I wanted to emphasize, teenagers and adults, they deserve someone to rely on too. In Takopi's original sin, perspective matters. Even though the parents throughout Takopi's show are horrible and seem unredeemable, you need to remember, perspective matters. Somewhere in the past, at some point, they were all lost and made a series of faulty decisions. Decisions that were results of external factors placed on them. Now, I'm not saying that they deserve to be forgiven, whoop-de-dee, we're all good. But that doesn't mean they can try and spend their lives atoning for it. At the time of recording this, the final season of My Hero Academia is wrapping up, and you may or may not know about him, but Endeavor from My Hero Academia is a perfect example of a seemingly irredeemable parent. If you're unfamiliar with him, or have forgotten of how bad of a parent he was, Endeavor was actually a horrible parent. He was literally a mix of Azuma, Marina, and Shizuka's parents culminated into one dad. His motives being to produce a child that could inherit his and his wife's quirks or powers. He's basically those type of parents who have a child to try and culminate them into a super athlete without even considering their aspiration. As he started creating kids, his first son, Toya, or Dabi, keep in mind a son who could have surpassed him with the proper training, was viewed in Endeavor's eyes as his first failed experiment. He then neglected his next two children, Natsuo and Fuyumi, for not being perfect creations as they too have failed the genetic combination he was looking for. And when he got the son who did have the correct blend of genetics, Shoto, he isolated him from the rest of his family for intense training, only fracturing and isolating the family. But as the show progresses, the Endeavor we see in Season 1 is completely different from the one in Season 8. Endeavor is proof that people could change. And you know, I get it, this is an anime. This shit would never fly in real life. But it has. Mary Johnson is a mother of a deceased 20-year-old named Laramian Bird who was killed by a 16-year-old named O'Shea Israel. O'Shea killed Laramian at a party and was sent to jail. During that time, Mary could have spent a lot of time to come up with ways to make O'Shea's life miserable. But instead, she forgave him. In Mary's words,
unforgiveness is like cancer. It will eat you from the inside out. It's not about that other person. Me forgiving him does not diminish what he's done. Yes, he murdered my son, but the forgiveness is for me. It's for me.
So I know I came at you from a lot of angles. This was supposed to be about an anime I watched, but the premise of my whole channel is supposed to be about lessons I can take away from shows, and just have a good time with y'all. Initially, this video was made to open up your eyes about the struggles that many children face growing up, but it became not so black and white, as adults may have faced similar traumas as well in the past. And the idea of being able to redeem oneself was tackled. Just remember, there are many different perspectives to take. It's up to you on how you view something. Just know this. Although Takopi may not exist, Takopi's actions are something we can apply to our lives. After lessons upon lessons of trial and error, and trying to understand humans, Takopi fails to understand humans. We fail to understand each other even after lessons of trial and error. But it doesn't mean we can't make the simple action of being there for someone. As Deku put it, if we keep extending a helping hand, I'm sure it'll matter.